Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day, whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. I am glad you're here. Just want to take a quick second and say thank you to all the channel members, thank you all, and thank you for anybody who's come in to check out the knife, the EDC content. I appreciate it. I hope you like it. If you do, and you're so inclined, if you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon, it really helps me out. So today, I wanted to feature another one of the knives. Austin from Traditional Pocket Knives sent me to review to check out. We've been talking about the Penguin lately, kind of my OG, one of my first 5 knives, my D2 Micarta Penguin, and just a basic $35 package. This is one of the Traditional Pocket Knives exclusives because Traditional Pocket Knives works with QSP to do some, like the Ultim Penguin that we looked at, like, the hedgehogs and things like that. They do traditional pocket knives, some exclusive products with them. And this is one of them. This is similar to the Mini that I showed you, but this is the titanium, I guess you'd call it the Jigged black Penguin Plus. So the Penguin Plus is a little bit larger knife, and we will see that here in a second. The other difference over the Mini is this one, like the Ultim, has a flipper tab or thumb studs. So you've got thumb stud deployment, flipper deployment, glassy bearing actions, where the original Penguins were on washers. We've talked about that. But very simple construction, a couple of standoffs, just like the others. You do have solid titanium scales, so you don't have any weight relief, which means it feels like just a nice weighted knife. The Penguin, by form, by design, from way back in the day, was always, in my opinion, a great EDC knife. I love the Sheepsfoot Wharncliffe blade that makes detail cuts really easy. It always was very sharp, great cutter, and multiple different grips. Just a really good knife. Now, the original Penguin, I don't have an OG Penguin, but I do have the Ultim PP Penguin, which shows you the size of what the OG Penguin was. So the Penguin Plus is about 3/4 to an inch longer than the OG or the original Penguin, which I think is a good size. I get a very comfortable 4 fingers well inside of that, that flipper tab. And then if I go above the choil, like I like to when I'm doing detail cuts, I've got just so much room. Yet, it is still very thin, shares the same titanium pocket clip, goes in and out of pocket very well, and carries like a nice, thin gentleman's knife, even though it's a larger knife. And when we compare this to a couple of other larger knives, I think you'll see that it's in the simplicity and the thinness of the design. So what we have here is and this is also available in the gray titanium, like the Mini that I showed, or the black. So you can get either one of those knives in either one of these color configurations. This is the black, and it is, I think, really sexy because it's totally murdered out. You've got an M390 blade. This one, unlike the Ultim PP, is not hollow ground, it's flat ground. But you've got fantastic access to the lock bar. You can see that you've got nice cutout here with milling on the inside of the lock bar. Gives you very easy access in and out. The action on this knife is superb. It's super snappy, whether I light switch it, whether I push button it, whether I use my thumb to whoops, I hit the flipper tab on my finger that time, or reverse finger flick it. It's just got a nice snap. And then it is not necessarily fall shut, but it definitely drops shut, right? I'm horizontal, so it's not as easy to tell. But you've got the M390 blade, which is an upgrade, a major upgrade over the D2, or over some of the other blade steels that QSP has pulled out. Because if you guys have followed the Penguin, this design's been around for a very long time. But it's been such a popular design that QSP and companies like Traditional Pocket Knives have really encouraged its longevity with different modifications, upgrades, kind of bringing it into its own, right? There are different locking types now. You've got higher trim levels, where before it was just a budget knife, which was a great budget knife, probably one of the best selling budget knives. I would guess for QSP. I would say it's probably QSP's most popular model. But since the original Penguin came out, and I learned about QSP, that's how I learned about them. And then I got a Craig. I think I've only had a few QSPs in my day, but then they started OEMing for some of my favorite companies like EMP EDC, and I was really blown away by the amount of quality that they were able to put out, even though the D2 Penguin was a winner. Well, when you look at a knife like this, one of these Traditional Pocket Knives exclusives that is in full tie, M390, frame lock, you really quickly see that there's a lot of refinement in this simple 2 scales and a blade with some bearings design. It has just been refined in almost every way, from the blade steel to the size upgrade to give you another choice. So now you can pick 3 sizes of Penguins, offering a frame lock, offering it in other locking types, just really taking the design that has been so popular and letting it evolve. And I think that's a good thing. One of the things, and this isn't a rant, but one of the things that we do, I know as reviewers, but as knife addicts, knife enthusiasts, whatever I fall under, is we're always chasing the next great thing, because we're always looking for better, newer, a different experience. And sometimes some of the best designs are right under our noses, and it's just a matter of reconnecting with them. I'm going to be doing some videos coming up on some knives that are still available, but they're not the latest, greatest knives, but I still think they're fantastic knives. And as an overall design, the Penguin is probably one of my favorite designs. I had my Denim Micarta Penguin for over 2.5 years. It was one of the, I finally gave it away on Friday Night Flicks, but it wasn't one of my earlier giveaways. Then brother Jim Miller donated one to the channel that I did a review on, and donated it to a winner at Friday Night Flicks, because that's why Jim wanted to send it into the channel. I bought a Penguin slip joint, which I still have and love, just because, again, the design is, I think, what sets the knife apart. It's a great shape. It's a great utilitarian shape, and it just works, right? So this is going to be your regular Penguin size. It's not going to be the Plus, but I even bought the slip joint because I feel so good about this design, because it's a winning design. My point to that little rant is there have been some great knives designed. A lot of times they kind of come into our radar and then fly out of our radar because something else is out there, and that's exciting. I love to see new stuff in the knife industry. I love to review new stuff. I like to chase new stuff. I just also like to point out, and I want to make some content on some stuff that I still hold very dear to my heart that's still available. Sometimes you can find on sale, and they're just great knives. Just kind of put attention on them again, right? I find a lot of joy now that I'm not really buying knives. I'm kind of on this freeze, that I'm rediscovering my collection and carrying knives that I maybe didn't carry as much as I did before, because I was always switching out, and I've really enjoyed it. And I've come to fall in love with some knives I'm going to share with you guys real soon, because again, I reviewed them, I carried them for a while, something else came in, it took my attention, the knife went in the case, it didn't get pulled out that much, and you know, it's just nice to rediscover your collection. And the QSP Penguin is an absolute OG, I think, in my knife collecting days. Again, I've only been in this thing for right under 3 years, right around 3 years maybe, collecting knives. And again, one of my first 5 knives, I think I saw it when I was watching Zach and Ben on Blade HQ talking about it. And I think that's where I ended up picking it up from. So the Penguin Plus is going to be about a 1/2 inch larger than our Benchmade bug out. It is going to be about the same distance shorter than the Paramilitary 2. So to me, that gives it a good mid-size, mid to large to full-size knife that gives you a lot of purchase area, but it's still a very thin package. One thing I wanted to point out is if you look at the carry profile of the Penguin versus the Para 2, or even versus the bug out. It's about bug out thin. So it's a thin package that, again, makes it a full-size knife, but doesn't make it carry like a full-size knife, if that makes any sense. For example, that carries like a brick. That doesn't. So let's get some quick dimensions. And we will learn that this guy is going to tip the tape right under 8 inches. So that's over 7 3/4, between 7 3/4 and 8, whatever that is. I'll put a link to TPK in the description where you can get all those specs. It'll also be an affiliate link in case you want to use it. You don't have to. It's just there in case you want to. 3.5 inch blade. It does help the channel. With a 3 1/4 inch cutting area. And this is that choil that we were talking about. This has been around for the Penguin for as long as I've had Penguins, right? The slip joint's a little bit different. And then that's one of the differences on the Ultim, the button lock, which came after the jig tie. This is also available in a jig tie. But it does have a sharpening choil and a hollow grind. And it just shows that a very popular design continues to evolve. I don't have a problem with that sharpening choil. I never did, because again, it's a user to me. It always has been. The grip inside that trigger is right at 4 inches. So from right here to the back here, you've got a 4-inch grip, which is probably big enough for almost anybody's hand. You also have the QSP Penguin lanyard hole there that's in all the QSPs. Penguins, if you want to get our dimension up to the front, it's 4.5 inches. That's if you want to rest your finger up on that choil, which I'll sometimes do, depending on what I'm cutting. These are great knives, guys. And again, it's a knife that I had kind of forgotten about. I'd seen it on Traditional Pocket Knives site. I've always thought, I love the Penguin. I've had the Penguin. Did not know how this Penguin would feel or perform. Had no idea about the Ultim PP Penguin with a hollow grind. But both of them spoke to what my personal journey has kind of come into, which is I still like buying value knives. I think there's a great place for them, but I do like something with a little higher materials. Personally, just me, or higher valued materials at this stage of the game. And that's why the M390 and the titanium is so refreshing to me on a knife that's so popular. And then to see it even step up with hollow grinds and button locks. Let's get a couple of quick dimensions on our thickness of the body and the blade. Our blade stock is going to come in at 0.1485. 0.0205. 0.0210, right in there. And then our handle thickness is under 1/2 inch by a lot, 0.4125, which makes it, again, a nice, slim, easy in and out of pocket not super cumbersome at all, and a full-size cutter. So if the regular size Penguin or the OG Penguin is a little bit cramped, which a lot of people, that's one of the things that they mention, is if you don't have a hand like mine, you might feel like that knife's a little bit tight. You might want a larger package. In case if that's the case, the Penguin Plus fills that void. So it's going to come in right at 4.25 ounces in full tie and M390 with, what do we say, roughly a 3-something inch blade. It's going to come in a little bit higher than that inch and ounce, but nothing that bothers me because, again, the materials are premium. I'm dealing with full tie. I'm dealing with just a great package that I'm very familiar with. A lot of people who've had a Penguin will be very familiar with this knife. And then the fact that it is a frame lock, the fact that it is incorporating now a flipper tab, if that's something you like, and the fact that it's available in a larger size, I think are all wins. And this video, I think, is going to go out maybe Sunday, but on all I'll be posting on Facebook. There's a big sale at Traditional Pocket Knives right now. A lot of stuff's on sale, so do check that out. I'm sure some of these will be available when you do. And guys, thank you for watching the video. I think that about covers it. I want to thank Austin for sending these along for me to check out. I'll have them and show them off on Friday Night Flicks, and then I'll be sending them back to Austin on Saturday. And none of them have been used hard, but I didn't have to use them hard because I literally beat the hell out of my D2 Penguin, and when I gave it away, it looked pretty much like new. Had a few scratches on the blade, but that's about it. They're fantastic knives. They're very easy to maintain, to take apart, to swap bearings, whatever the case may be. I think it's a great knife. Tried and true design. This lasted for at least 3 years in its common form, and you still see it being revamped and improved. Guys, thank you. I rambled too long, and I apologize. If you're still here and you have a heart and you're interested in the content, please hit that subscribe button. It would stoke me out. Most importantly, look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Keep an eye on each other. Go forward with love in your hearts and choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.